Hi everyone, this is Steph King from Blue Sky PR and I'm joined today by my colleague Vicky Collins.
Hi everyone, and hi Steph, thanks for having me on today.
You're very welcome. We hope everyone's keeping safe in these uncertain times and adapting to, I guess, what's the new normal. So the team at Blue Sky have been working closely with the Recruitment Network as one of their gold partners to develop some content and training that's useful both today and in the future as we navigate this period of a huge uncertainty. So with that in mind, Vicky and I want to talk to you about how you can use PR and content to maximise your business development success. If we look towards the future in a post-COVID era, I think it's clear to say that things are never going to be the same, and they're not going to be the same as they used to, that they were just a few short weeks ago. And this was the very topic of a recent roundtable event that the Recruitment Network hosted, that our Managing Director, Tracy Barrick, took part in. And that looked at sort of predictions for the future. So a key theme that was covered was that when we emerge from this crisis, there's very likely going to be a shift towards a client-led market. And one person on the round table went as far as to say that the clients are going to be the parachute that's going to get agencies through the next 9 to 12 months. So arguably, business development is going to be absolutely crucial in the coming months. So I think it goes without saying that a strong business development strategy is always going to be, business critical to win new clients. But looking towards the future, I think it's going to be more important than ever. And this isn't just because you're set to be operating in a potentially very crowded market, but the way we work is set to change exponentially when we start to emerge from this pandemic. It's safe to say that no one thinks that working life is going to simply go back to normal. We're not just going to flick a switch. Gone will be the days where remote working was perhaps seen as a taboo, and I think that's certainly was the case for the recruitment arena. I think we're going to see, and certainly in the immediate months following lockdown, a continuation of remote working and virtual meetings, and the face-to-face interaction with your potential clients, whether that's through a meeting or a coffee or sort of a networking event, is going to diminish exponentially. Arguably then, you're going to all have to get back to the basics of business development. And what do we mean by that? Well, I think there's definitely going to be a need to revisit the old school tactics. And one of those is really nailing a business development call. So on that subject, and with that in mind, we've been running a survey asking recruitment directors and consultants, what really does make a good business development call. So we asked, was it previous engagement with the company in question? Was it ensuring that you'd researched the business? Was it perhaps that you already had a personal connection? Was it your lead question when they first pick up the call? Or was it demonstrating your expert knowledge of your market? Or perhaps it was offering something for free? So the survey's been running for just over a week now, and the results are coming in thick and fast, but they've been really quite interesting. And the overwhelming majority of people so far have said that it's previous engagement and expert knowledge that really sort of make a business development call. So if we look at expert knowledge, the ability to demonstrate that you're a true subject matter in the sector your clients are operating in, as well as the talent agenda, and also the challenges that your clients are contending with, which I think is safe to say that when we emerge from this crisis will arguably be somewhat different than in months gone by. So that's going to be absolutely key, that sort of subject matter expert. And in terms of engagement, so what do we mean by this? Well, we mean the use of content and information that can help you demonstrate your expert knowledge. So that might be content that you've been putting out to prospects before a call. So you're a known entity, there's a familiarity with you when they pick up the phone. Or it could be content that you can share post-call to help you remain on their radar. And both of these can be achieved through the development of great content and PR.
So just to build on that, I want to sort of start covering off with everybody how PR can really help you. Given the light of the results that Steph's just talked through of our survey. And I think, as the image suggests, the way that PR and marcoms can really help is that it will act as a differentiator for you as an individual. Essentially, PR, thought leadership content, it all gives you something different to stand out in what is going to undoubtedly be a crowded marketplace. And it's something that allows you to provide some real added value to those people who you are speaking to. So when you're picking up the phone to somebody, to a potential new client, it gives you something beyond a sales message to engage with that individual. And it really allows you to showcase your expertise. And essentially, it gives the audience a real reason to communicate with you, listen to you, talk to you, and it keeps you front of mind compared to anybody else. And what's crucial about making sure that any sort of PR and content that you're producing is really successful for you when it comes to building your business development leads and really nailing those BD opportunities, is that any content adds real value. As Steph mentioned, expert knowledge is obviously one of the key things of really getting a BD call right at the moment. So by adding value, you are showcasing what you know, and essentially this has never really changed. It's something that's always been on the radar when it comes to PR and marketing. All of our clients, we always say to them that you need to focus on the thought leadership content that you're pushing out there. So you're not going to market with a direct sales message. You're telling people what you know and why you know it and why you are the best go-to recruitment firm for their business. And the way that you can demonstrate this expertise is to talk about the topics that you are really, really tuned into. And all of those words and those topics on the screen there were relevant this time last year for any recruitment firm and are still relevant now. But what has changed now is that all of the information, all the developments to do with any of these subject matters is developing at a really, really quick rate at the moment. So now more than ever, businesses need an expert to guide them as to what is happening on each of these subjects, to let them know what is going on in the people agenda, what it means to their business, and why you are the person who has that knowledge and has access to that information that can really support their business growth. So essentially, you're giving them something, some content and some information that adds value to their business without really asking for anything in return. And I know that sounds quite difficult for some people who are perhaps very sales orientated, but I think in the new normal, that giving away some content, giving away some advice is going to be really key to stand yourself out from the crowd. And it's going to deliver you those BD opportunities on the level that you really are going to need. But it's going to build those relationships as well that are going to help you grow your business, going to help you develop your networks and help you win those key clients going forward. So in terms of how you can do this, how can you utilize the PR and marcoms opportunities as an individual, as a consultant at the moment, and how you can really tap into that knowledge and share your knowledge and expertise to support your BD once we're all sort of getting back to this new normal. A couple of tips for you. I think first and foremost, don't feel that you have to shoulder this burden on your own. Work with the others in your business. Think about who you've got access to in your company. Many recruitment firms have a marketing team. You may not have necessarily worked closely with them prior to all of this, the lockdown and everything that's been going on, but could you actually be working with them much closer going forward and in the future? And the reason I ask that is because these are the individuals who will be best placed to advise you as to what will or won't work when it comes to producing thought leadership content, as to where you can be sharing your expertise and knowledge, and how you can be adding that extra value beyond a sales message to your target audiences. And remember that they have the experience of pushing out some messages that are along these lines of thought leadership rather than the sales messages. So think how you can build that relationship with them and how you can learn from them and utilize their experience. And crucially, your marketing teams will have access to information on a company basis. So they will be able to let you know what topics are driving real engagement at the moment, what topics are people searching for on your website, how many people are reading certain content on your site on particular topics, what's of interest at the moment. And all of this will be able to guide you as to what you can be pushing out through your networks as an individual, what you should be using when you are picking up the phone to that BD opportunity. If you know, for instance, that a particular topic is getting searched a lot on your website, then perhaps you should be picking up the phone to those searching your site. The marketing team will have access to that information, and they'll be able to tell you what they're looking at. So call them and lead with that information, and have that conversation with them that isn't necessarily I know someone who can work for you, but more of I see that you're looking at this, did you know we have these resources? That message will really help you nail that BD call and stand out when you've got off the phone to these individuals. Now, I've said use the term thought leadership content a few times here, and I think it's keen to just cover off at this point exactly what we mean by thought leadership content. Essentially, it's anything that adds value to the reader beyond the sales message, as you've probably gathered from the advice that I've been giving so far. This type of content can be based on anything from market reports that you've got, it could be salary surveys, it could be your advice and your insight into trends that are taking place in the sectors that you operate within. It could be white paper reports where you are analysing particular themes and topics that are pertinent to your audiences at the moment. It could be a thought leadership advice feature that really does analyse and assess the current market trends, and then gives the advice as to what this means for your audiences and what this means for businesses, and what your advice would be for firms that are facing these similar challenges or these opportunities. It's something that essentially is you giving away advice and you giving away your knowledge. And as I said earlier, that can be tough, but if you really want to stand out, if you want to be a differentiator, if you want to really nail that BD call, then you do need to make sure that your thought leadership content is definitely very different and doesn't have that sales message. There's content such as blogs, which you can ensure is thought leadership focused, but if you really want to have the quality content that you can push out far and wide, I think you need to make sure that you're looking at the likes of research reports and what data and trends you have access to. That type of content will certainly be valuable going forward. And it's key as well to look at where you can be getting perhaps some third-party endorsement through pushing out your thought leadership content to other publications and other sites and other sources. Where you have, for example, any data or any market research, it's all PRable content. There are a wealth of publications out there that just love data. Journalists absolutely love data. So if you are producing any documents where, even if it is a quick snapshot survey like the one that we've done, for example, with you guys, we're going to be using that data ourselves. We'll be going to the press to see who wants access to this data, and we do this with all of our clients, and we'd certainly advise you to do the same. Now, obviously, managing journalists' relationships and managing the press it's not easy. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be simple. And I'm not suggesting that you go as an individual straight out to the business editor of the FT with some data. But if you have access to any thought leadership content going forward, make sure you're liaising with your marketing team to see where you can be pushing this out much further and getting that third-party endorsement from journalists, from publications, from newspapers, and through online sites as well. And crucially, you can then utilize any external coverage to really push out and the message that you're messaging and really get yourself known far and wide. And that's what I want to come on to here on this particular slide, because we all know how much effort goes into creating one piece of thought leadership content. At Blue Sky PR, this is what we do on a daily basis, and we know it's something that doesn't just happen at the click of a finger. You do have to really work on producing content that's shareable, that's engaging, and that's going to really get your audience involved with you and remembering you. So once you have produce this fantastic piece of content, you need to make sure that you're squeezing every last opportunity out of it and extending the possible reach of it. And that's not just as a business, but that's also as an individual. So when you are trying to sort of showcase your expertise with your networks, you should be utilizing all of the content that your company is producing and all the content that you're working with for your company as well going forward. So where you have, for example, any research that you have worked on, or as a company, or that you've been building with the marketing team, consider how far and wide you can be sharing this. Once you've got the data, it can be repurposed into a blog post where you get the opportunity to really get your own opinion across about what the data means. You can analyze it and you can be more direct about your viewpoints on what this data is showing everybody. And then you can push all of this content out across social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, sharing it with links back to your website or with contact information with a call to action at the end, so that it encourages anyone to get in touch if they want to find out more information. Is certainly advisable. And these days the likes of video content is really, really easily digestible, and people crave video content at the moment. So consider how you could perhaps record a video, even a talking head video of yourself just outlining some of the top line results of any research that you've had, or just commenting on the blog post and giving an overview of what the blog post said about the research. It just encourages people to go back to your site, read the information, but crucially, it also gives a chance for you to have your face in front of these potential BD leads before you're picking up the phone to them and cold calling them. They can put a face to that voice. Utilize the likes of podcasts as well. Can you be turning this piece of content into a conversation with one of your clients or with another member of the team where you're discussing the results? Look at who else in your network could get involved. And it's just a way of, again, repurposing some of the content that you have and the information that you have and putting it out there in as many digestible ways as possible. And of course, ensure that you are pushing any of this out in any of your client communications. When you are following up with a BD lead, if you've not been able to get through to them on the phone, but you're sending them a follow-up email, send them the results of the research, send them a link to the latest blog, send them a link to your video that you've recorded. It just gives another opportunity for them to get some added value from you and for them to see what you really know, beyond you approaching them for potential sales opportunity for yourself. So it's all about making sure that you are utilising the content, squeezing every opportunity out of it, and really giving something away to your target audiences. Now, of course, we can say it, but I'm going to let Steph go ahead and give you some examples of how it really works for our clients.
Thanks, Vicky. So now Vicky's sort of given you the ins and outs on what makes some great content and PR. Let's look at a couple of examples. So the first one is some press coverage that we achieved for one of our clients that works in the construction sector, and this was a piece in the Daily Mail. So we'd been talking to this particular client about diversity in the construction arena, and how jobs in the sector were often viewed as simply jobs for the boys, but despite that, the arena was suffering from huge skill shortages and a lack of female talent. So we sold in a case study of a very successful female construction professional, and she spoke to the Daily Mail about her role in what's arguably a male-dominated industry, and discussed how employers should be working to highlight and celebrate the great female talent that the field already has. So the piece ran in the paper, you know, it looked brilliant. We had one very happy client, but they didn't just sit on it. They didn't just put it in reception, you know, show their friends and family, but they all used it in their business development strategy. So the marketing team turned it into content for blogs. They pushed it out far and wide on social media, and the consultants shared it with their network. And one of the team actually discussed the very topic at a conference he was speaking at. And the results were really fantastic, you know, lots of engagement, but really importantly, they landed a major resourcing project off the back of it, you know, of demonstrating their expertise. So I think that's a really fantastic example of how sort of stretching press coverage, using it to highlight, you know, that you're a true subject matter can, you know, really get some fantastic results. So the second example, what we refer to at Blue Sky as the 100K article. So we were working with an energy recruiter, and we was talking to a range of their consultants to get sort of a brain dump of what was going on in each of their markets. So we spoke to one particular guy about trends in the oil and gas markets. And it became really apparent that there was a huge skill shortage of one particular role, and that was the process safety engineer. You know, this particular specialism was really thin on the ground. So we took the information from the call and we sold in a feature to European Oil and Gas magazine. And we wrote the piece, you know, it demonstrated the consultant's expertise in the sector. And you know, it produced a really fantastic double page spread in the magazine. So again, when the piece went live, the consultant used it to engage with his network. He actually shared the coverage with potential clients. He mentioned it on business development calls and meetings, and he also actually left a couple of the sort of the hard copies of the magazines with potential clients after he pitched to them. And the results were really fantastic. So by demonstrating his knowledge and using the content through ongoing engagement with his network, he won several assignments which were worth more than 100K in fee income. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thanks, Vicky, very much for joining me today to share your knowledge.
That's okay. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy getting involved in these webinars and training videos.
So yeah, we really hope everything that we've said is sort of resonated, but also offered some useful tips and tricks. So you know, but if anyone has any questions, you've got our details on the slide now, and you know, visit our site. We've got plenty of resources, tips, webinars, ebooks that give sort of lots of sort of tips on different subjects, and get in touch with us, and hopefully we can help. But yeah, thanks very much for tuning in, and we hope you stay well and safe in the current climate.